Today we're going to be changing the transfer case on a 2003 Chevy Tahoe. Turn the key over. Car in neutral. From the 2 high and the 4 low down. 5-10 seconds. That's how you should be able to put it in neutral if everything starts right. Went to neutral. Put the car back up in park. Turn the key off. Take the key out of the ignition. The transfer case is now in neutral at a free row. But, I mean, you got the car in park. Get the parking brake on. And on the new transfer case, I'll show you how to put the transfer case in neutral if you can't get the buttons to work, because they won't always work. Okay, on the passenger side, about midway up here, this is the field plug. Be 18 millimeter. At the bottom, you got to plug off to itself. It's 18 millimeter, and that's to drain the transfer case fluid out of your transfer case. Take this one out first before you take the top one out. If not, just spray everywhere. Okay, your 18 millimeter. The drain plug out. Drain down in to something. You don't want it all over the ground, make a big mess. Now we just loosen the field plug a little bit. Don't want to take it all the way out, it ain't necessary. Alright, move that out of your way. Okay, we drained the transfer case fluid, reinstalled the drain plug so it don't get lost or misplaced. Here's the back side of the front drive shaft for the four-wheel drive. I've marked it. That way to go back together just like come apart. I marked the forward end. I want to be sure it goes back just like it come apart. And you got 2 retainers here. Well, 2 bolts, 1 retainer here. Same thing on the opposite side. Those are 10 millimeter. We're going to remove those. Slip the drive shaft out. 10 millimeter. There's a retainer on this side. Turn the drive shaft around. Be careful though, you do not want the drive shaft to fall down and hit you unexpectedly in the head or the face. Both retainers are out. See if we can't get this apart. The 2 retainers, 10mm bolt heads. Set them to the side. They won't be lost for now. We will reinstall those once the front dry shaft is out. That way they don't get lost or misplaced. Just take a little something, stick in there. And you don't want to pry, and there's some bearings in there you don't want to tear up. Okay, we got our two retainers out here. Each side, those are the 10mm bolts. You'll take a regular old tire tool, stick it here, kind of give it a little slide right out, like so. And just if it's stuck or anything, you don't want to pry too hard, you don't want to tear nothing up. At the back of the front dry shaft, you can see here, it had this clip. I removed the clip. Don't think that will be reusable, but this should pull right out. Front dry shaft removed. At the aft end of your forward dry shaft, you got like a spline here. Everything's looking pretty good. They ain't all a bunch of them missing or broke off. This is the forward end of the dry shaft here. You got some needle bearings in there. You want to make sure them caps don't come off. If they do, could be a big old mess. You lose a bunch of bearings. But I'd say you can probably stick your finger in there, roll them back around straight, make sure they ain't all crooked. But be sure it's got a cap on both sides of your yoke. You want to be sure them don't come off. Okay, here we are. This is the aft dry shaft going back to the rear end. You can see I've got it marked so we can put this back like it goes. Two more retaining clips, one on each side of the yoke. That's also a 10mm. We're going to remove those and pull the rear dry shaft. And I mean, if they're tight, I mean, it's a little rusty under here. You can spray them with some WD-40. You know, just kind of loosen them up.